So of course, as always, you can have props handy. There's always a good chance we might use them. They're always nice to have, but we're going to start in child's pose today. So go ahead and just see how you're feeling here. First child's pose of the day, even though this is thought to be more of a kind of relaxing pose, it can actually be quite intense. It's a deep stretch. So especially starting out. So if you are a little tighter in the hips, it might feel better to bring the knees a little closer together. If you're a little tighter in the spine, it might be really nice to have something to rest your head on. So you could take a block or a blanket underneath your forehead. Another nice adjustment is to slide a blanket behind your knees. Sometimes that just helps with everything a little bit too. So take a moment here, come into this first child's pose. Find a place where it feels relatively easy. There's definitely some stretch, but you can be here for a moment or two. And then find a nice deep inhale through your nose. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And do that a couple more times so you're letting the weekend go, Monday go, the bitter cold temperatures go, if that's where you're at in the world right now. All little things that are kicking around in your head. Just give yourself permission instead to start to pay attention to your breath and to your body. So this next hour is for you to tune in, explore what's going on, quiet down, just kind of have a little break from everything, even though we are working here. And you're eventually going to start to drop into your Ujjayi breath, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. In this particular shape, in this child's pose, just pay attention to how that expansion on the inhale feels. It's very three-dimensional. You can feel it in the front of the body, the sides of the body, the back of the body. And then everything contracts in as you exhale. There is a slight pause at the top of the breath, a slight pause at the bottom of the breath. So this like split second where nothing is happening. You're neither inhaling nor exhaling. It's almost like this perfect stillness. So enjoy that. And as you listen to that sound of your breath, just soak up this another moment or two of quiet. When you get distracted, come back to your breath. Good. So we're going to stretch our arms forward here. You can peek forward to see that your arms are about hips distance apart, spreading fingers, gently pressing down. So forearms will be lifting up off the mat a little bit. As we inhale, we're going to find our tabletop position, and then we're going to take this into our arch and our lumbar. It's kind of like a little modified cat-cow. So chest coming forward through the gates of the shoulders. Good. As you exhale, start to press the mat away with your hands. Pull your belly button towards your back ribs. Let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Continue this exhale. Let it place you back into that child's pose. So we're just going to do that kind of like little modified cat-cow with our child's pose in the mix here. So inhale, rock forward. Find that arching in your lumbar really nice. As you exhale, start to round and thoracic. Direct your tailbone back towards your heels. Find your child's pose. Inhale, rock up to tabletop. Carry that into the lumbar curve. Exhale, press the mat away. Stretch sit bones back towards heels as you fall in to your child's pose. Couple more. So inhale, rock forward. Press shoulder heads back, find that openness across your heart and chest. Exhale, round in, let the back of the neck lengthen and release. Press down into the tops of your feet as you relax your hips back towards your heels. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, come up to your tabletop. And then just start to move into your classic cat-cow here. So exhale, you press the mat away. You round into the thoracic spine. Inhale, you arch. Continuing like this and just really observing how your spine is feeling, kind of waking it up. Trying to let the neck go here, especially as you come into that cat stretch. We tend to hold on to it and grip it. Hi, Susie. Really syncing up the movement with your breath. And mostly just enjoying how this feels. So sometimes, you know, on the weekend, it can be a little lazy, which I think is a good thing. So maybe it's been a day or two since you've done anything. So just enjoy this sensation of kind of getting some breath into the body, getting some movement into the body. Energetically, notice how that starts to shift, how you're feeling. Good. So on our next inhale, we're going to come back to neutral spine. You're neither arching nor rounding. Just check in with your setup here. Just make sure that your shoulders are over your wrists. You're going to keep your gaze an inch or two in front of your fingertips. Feel your belly pull in and up a little bit so you have a nice flat back. As you inhale, we're going to lift our right leg, left arm up off the mat. Keep those right toes pointing down. Nice work. As you exhale, release. Inhale, left leg, right arm. See how long you can get. You're trying to traction out your lower back here. Exhale, release down. Inhale, lengthening out. Feel shoulder blades release down your back. Exhale, come on down. Good. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Couple more to each side. Definitely a little balance here. Exhale, release. These look great. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, release down. Feel those outer hips squeeze in so you're getting that support. Inhale, left leg, right arm. And then exhale, release down here. So let's inhale, come back to that right leg, left arm, but let's hold this time. And notice if you're overlifting, so you want to keep your hips nice and even. Nice adjustments, everybody. Good work. Toes point down, feel those outer hips squeeze in, so you're firing up the glutes a little bit here. You just stay here like this. If you'd like to bend that right knee, go ahead and do so. It's like you're going to stamp that foot on top of the ceiling. Reach back with that left hand, grab the foot, and then if you get that foot, kick it into your hand, start to spin open to the left. So you're getting a little twist here, a little back bend, really nice hip flexor stretch on that extended leg. Can be intense, back out a little bit if you need to. For sure, a balance pose here. If you fall out, no big deal. Are you breathing? All right, so as gracefully as you came into this, if you came into it, stretch back out with control, nice. As you exhale, you release down. And then as we inhale, left leg, right arm. So see how long you can get. Hold on to that. Feel the lower belly engage. Maybe you stay here. It's a great place to be. If you'd like, you bend that left leg. Reach back, see if you can find the foot. You might not get it. That's okay. One day it happens, maybe it doesn't. If you've got it, kick that foot into your hand. As you root down into your left palm, so you have that anchoring, start to spin those left ribs to the right. Press right shoulder head back. Breath, smooth and steady. We'll just chuckle if you fall out. And then we inhale, lengthen back out. It's only yoga. Exhale, release down. Couple more rounds of your cat-cow just to let that go. Inhale, come back to neutral spine. Walk your hands forward a couple of inches so you're giving yourself a little more space. So wrists should be slightly ahead of your shoulders here. Those fingers spreading. Curl your toes under. Curl your belly in a little bit here. Start to shift your hips up towards the ceiling. Finding your first downward facing dog. And then just taking a moment here Finding a little movement, pedaling back and forth between your feet. You can shift hips side to side. So whatever feels good in your body here. This first downward dog of the day can feel pretty intense. We grip the neck, let it go. So you feel your ears line up between your biceps, your inner arm. So your gaze should be between your feet. Feet are about hip distance apart. These look really nice. Feel the front of the thigh press towards the back of the thigh so the legs are really firm and active. Nice adjustments. All right, so start to squeeze your outer hips in towards each other a little more. So feel that containment. And so the same thing as when we were in our cat-cow and lifting up the leg. Keep the hips nice and even as you inhale. Right leg lifts up off the mat. Your toes are pointing down. Nice work. As you exhale, you're going to step that right foot through between your hands. Good. And then you're going to lower down onto your knee, left knee. Good. Slide it back as far as you need to. So if you're a little more open in this hip flexor muscle, that leg is going to go back. If you're a little tighter, this is a really fantastic place to have some blocks underneath your hands. So just breathing into this stretch here. And it's definitely intense. So back out a little bit if you need to. Okay, so this is an option that you can try if you want. It's going to get into this hip flexor a little more, and it's also going to get into the foot. So you either stay here. If you want to play with pressing into the top of your foot, that left foot, and firming that thigh up for a breath or two, you can take that variation. So it kind of stretches out the toes a little bit. It definitely gets into the hip flexor. Nice work. If you took that variation, go ahead and lower that left knee back down. And then we're going to come back into our hamstring stretch here. So start to melt your hips back so they land over that left knee. And this is, again, a really great place to have your blocks. Sometimes higher feels better. So that allows us to keep this length through our spine, but then you're getting this really intense hamstring stretch. So really big muscle. Most of us feel this. If this is a little easier for you, keeping this openness and lift across your heart, maybe you start to walk your hands forward a little bit. Hold on to that idea of right hip drawing back, left hip drawing forward. And if you're really tight, a little bend in this right knee is going to be really nice. Breath smooth and steady. Good. As you exhale, rock forward. So find that bend in your knee. Bring your your hands to that right thigh. Okay, so direct your tailbone down. So you want to feel really a lot of space in the lower sides of your waist here. Good. Hold on to that. Feel outer hips squeeze in towards each other so you feel stable. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. It's a little low crescent pose. Good. Maybe bring your gaze up. Press palms together. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Curl your left toes under. Good. And then we're just going to step back to our downward facing dog. As you inhale, you lift your left leg. So hips stay nice and even. Outer hips are squeezing in towards each other. Those left toes are pointing down. And then as you exhale, step that foot through. You might have to pick it up and move it. That's okay. And then we come into this hip flexor stretch on the right side, which may feel different. So use blocks underneath your hands if you need to. Slide that right knee back a little further if you need to. Get curious about how this side feels different. If it's the tighter side, you're not trying to force it to look like the other side. You're just making a note. And also know that day to day, practice to practice, our bodies are really different. So be okay with that. So again, if you'd like to take this up a notch, press the top of that right foot into the mat, firm that leg up. And you can try it and see if it's for you. It might not be. Good deep inhale. As we exhale, if you lifted that right knee, just release it back down. And then we start to shift our hips back. So getting into the hamstring stretch. So blocks are great here. We want to keep our spine nice and long, even though there's a little bit of a forward fold. Feels like your right hip is drawing forward as your left hip comes back. So both hip bones are facing the same direction. If you're a little more flexible here, you really point these left toes up towards the ceiling. If this is a huge, intense stretch in that hamstring, maybe a little bend in the knee, kind of relax the foot. So all these little adjustments that we can do so that the pose feels good in our bodies. We're getting a stretch, but we don't want to overdo it. And again, if you're a little more flexible, you can start to walk your hands forward any amount. Keep that openness across your heart and chest as you do that. Nice work, everyone. So let's bend our left knee. Hands come up to that left thigh. So start to direct your tailbone down. Feel your outer hip squeeze in and up. Notice how that automatically engages the belly. As you inhale, arms stretch out and up. Good. And then maybe bring your gaze up, press your palms. As you exhale, hands come down to your mat. Curl your right toes under. Good, and we're gonna step our right foot to meet our left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen forward, so fingertips could be on the floor, hands on shins or thighs. As you exhale, you fold in. Feel your arches in your feet lift here, even if it's just an idea. Hold on to that, press down to rise up on your inhale. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, stretching up. So just a couple rounds of our Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Exhale, fold in. You can always have a little bend in your knees here. So hamstrings are tight in these forward folds, especially initially. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Press down into your feet, stretch arms out and up. Good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We've got a few more of these, so let them feel really good. It might feel nice to close your eyes here. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, lengthen forward. Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Beautiful, nice and net. As you exhale, fold back in. Press down to rise up. Exhale, hands come together at your heart. So 2 more on your own, moving with your breath. I'm not going to cue you. You can watch me if you need to follow along. Otherwise, just finding your own pace here and letting these feel really good. Just breathing space and ease and a sense of grace into your body. Enjoy how it feels to be in your skin. These look lovely. And when you're done with your second round, you're just standing in your mountain pose, hands together at your heart. Eyes might be closed. You're just checking in. You're noticing how you're feeling. Already you might be feeling as though you're standing a little taller. It doesn't take much to really shift the physical sensations that we're getting. It doesn't take much to shift the steadiness of the breath and even to shift the headspace. So enjoy all of that if it's happening for you. Good. So let's go ahead and inhale, stretch our arms up. And then interlace your fingers, so just over your head. And then you're going to start to bend your elbow. So your palm is going to come towards the back of your head. And lean those elbows back a little bit. Try to keep the shoulders from creeping up around your ears. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, drop your right elbow off to the right.
Good. Inhale to center. Exhale, drop left elbow. Good. Inhale to center. Good. Exhale. Dropping that right elbow. Inhale up. So just getting to the shoulders a little bit here. As you exhale, drop that left elbow. Notice if you're starting to overarch in your lumbar, direct your tailbone down. Inhale to center. And then let's exhale. Drop our right elbow down. And you can even lean that left elbow back a little bit. And then we're going to start to take a little side bend here. So as you press evenly into your feet, your hips shift off to the left. And that might intensify how things are feeling. You can even lean your head back into your hands a little bit here. Good. Inhale, come back up to center. And then exhale, left elbow drops to the left. Maybe press that right shoulder head back a little bit. You can even press your head into the forearm. Good. And then root into your feet so you feel very steady and anchored there. Hips start to shift to the right as you exhale, side bend. So you're feeling this nice stretch to the right side of your waist. You're also getting this in your shoulders. It's intense. Try to keep the weight even in your feet. Good. Inhale up to center. Good. And then as you exhale, drop right hand down. Left arm comes up and over. So another little side stretch. Spin the pinky side of the left hand down towards the mat so you're getting internal rotation in that arm. Good. Inhale, press into your feet. Exhale. Take that to the left. Feeling this nice, intense side stretch, lateral stretch here through the right side. Maybe looking up underneath that top arm. You're feeling the pinky side of the right hand spin down towards the floor. Weight is even in your feet. Good. Inhale, come up to center. Just release your arms by your side. Take a couple of breaths, and then we're going to just start to add on here. Okay. So as you inhale, arms reach out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest lengthens forward, gaze comes forward. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot way back. Let's land onto that knee for this first round here. Inhale, one breath, rise up into your crescent pose. Find this space, this length through the sides of your waist. As you exhale, palms plant. So keep that left knee down. Just come back to this cat-cow place. So let's do that. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round in. Inhale, arch. Good. Exhale, round in. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine, and then walk your hands forward a couple of inches here. And then shift your shoulders over your wrists. As you exhale, elbows bend an inch, two, no more than half. Gaze is forward. Hover here at this modified Chaturanga. Come onto your belly. Good. So the tops of the feet press into the mat. Let's bring our arms by our side. Bring your big toes together today and really fire up the glutes. So feel them squeeze in towards each other a lot as you direct your tailbone towards your heels. And then palms face in towards each other. As you inhale, keep pressing down into your feet. Head, chest, arms lift up off the mat. Try to press or release, squeeze those shoulder blades in towards each other as they release down your back. With each inhale, find a little lift, a little lightness in your heart and chest. Good. As you exhale, lower down, bring your fingertips underneath your shoulder heads. Keep the elbow squeezing in so you have that shoulders lifting from the mat feeling again. Inhale, chest extends forward and up. So coming into low cobra, you're not using your hands to come into this. Exhale, lower down. Legs again, active, glutes squeezing, inhale up. Good. Exhale, lower. Inhale up here. Good. And then from here, we're going to exhale, press to our tabletop, curl our toes under, downward facing dog. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift your left leg up. Exhale, step that foot through, land on your right knee. One breath, inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Beautiful work, everybody. As you exhale, your hands come down to the mat. Curl your right toes under. Step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Let the back of the neck release. Inhale, press into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, stretching. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Left foot stays forward, step your right foot way back. And then keep those right toes curled under this time, so we're coming into our crescent pose. Inhale, rise up. Good, you can have a little bend in that back knee if you need to. As you exhale, hands come to the mat, palms plant. Keep gazing forward, keep your hips this low as you step that left foot back to meet your right foot. Let's take a few breaths here in our plank pose. So shoulders land over your wrists. Use the legs more than you think you can. You can always take your knees down to the floor and that lower your hips a little bit. Yes, but fire the legs up. Nice adjustment. Okay, so we're gonna shift forward on our toes as we exhale. Again, maybe you come to your knees here, or you do your full Chaturanga, hover it halfway, land on your belly. Inhale, tops of the feet pressed. Bhujangasana, low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up. Exhale, lower. So this time, inhale up, hold Bhujangasana here. If you're ready for an up dog, drag your hands back, wrists underneath your elbows. Next, inhale, press into the tops of your feet. Press into your hands so arms come to straight. Press shoulder heads back, a little more kneel. Yeah, and you might need a little bend in your elbows to do that. Shins, knees, thighs are lifting up off the mat in your up dog. If that's not happening, lower back down to your cobra. Curl toes under. Downward facing dog. As you inhale, your right leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Good, keep those left toes curled under. One breath, inhale, rise up. Full crescent pose. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come down to the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Press down to rise up. So starting to feel this heat building in the body. Let's just take one more, a full round of that Surya Namaskar. We're going to do it with just our crescent pose. So just one breath per movement this time. As you inhale, arms reach. As you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Right foot stays forward. Exhale, step your left foot back. Good. Inhale, rise up to crescent pose. Make sure you're not on a tightrope, so you can always walk that right foot off to the right if you need to. As you exhale, hands plant. Good. Inhale, step right foot to meet left into your plank pose. Exhale, shift forward on toes. You can modify as needed. Lower halfway, hover, or all the way down. Inhale, elbow squeeze in as you come into the back bend of your choice. Exhale, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step that foot through. Make sure you're not on a tightrope. Strong legs carry you up into your crescent pose. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands come to the mat. Step your right foot to meet your left foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Press down into your feet. Stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. We're almost there. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, fold in. Feel those inner thighs spiral back. Maybe the hamstrings are feeling as though they're opening up. Inhale, chest lengthens as we begin to warm up. Keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back. Inhale, rise up into your crescent pose. Beautiful work. As you exhale, hands plant. Inhale, step your left foot back to meet your right foot. As you exhale, shift forward on toes. Chaturanga, whatever version of it you're doing. Inhale into your low cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step that right foot through between your hands. Good, strong legs carry you up into your crescent pose. As you inhale. As you exhale, hands come to the mat, step your left foot to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest lengthens. Exhale, fold in. Press into your feet, stretch arms out and up. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. All right, so I'd like to come into Malasana, so yogi squat. So this can be really intense. If you know that this is hard in your body, maybe just have a blanket close by, something to rest your heels on. So for most of us, we have to take our legs a little wider than hips distance apart. It also helps to turn the toes out a little bit so you're getting a little external rotation. Let me just show you where we're gonna go here. So we're gonna exhale, sink down. So if you're way high up on your toes, putting a blanket underneath your heels is gonna give you a little support and it's gonna make the pose feel a little better. So go ahead and play with that. So as we come into this, we're feeling our tailbone direct down, but we're feeling our sternum stretch up. Palms come together at your heart center. And then arms are pressing into the legs, but then legs are pressing inward into the arms. So finding that idea of asymmetric stretch, and that also is going to help you to kind of pop that chest forward a little bit. This is a deep, deep groin stretch. Pretty intense, not hamstring, could be in hamstrings. More hips though, outer hips. This is actually it can be a very intense stretch in the spine too. So know that these places where you're getting the sensations, it makes sense. I'm going to turn this into a little twist. So go ahead and press your right palm down onto the floor. Good. And then start to wrap your right ribs up. So a couple of options here. Maybe you just take your left hand to your left hip, kind of lean this left shoulder head back, the left elbow back. A couple of us might take that arm up, and you're trying to get those arms to stack on top of each other. Are you breathing? That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. You're gazing in a place that gives your neck a sense of comfort and ease. When we're deep inhale, good exhale, unwind. So just find center, palms press, squeeze the legs in a lot as you press out with your elbows. Nice work. Left palm presses down. And then again, a couple of options. So just fingertips to that right hip. Lean that shoulder back. Lean the elbow back as you wrap these left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you stay here like this. Maybe you extend that top arm up. So you feel those shoulder blades stack on top of each other. Nice work. These look great. Find a place with your gaze that feels good in your neck. This side might look a little different than the other side. I'm gazing towards the blue skies right now out the window, which is so lovely after a weekend of gray. Good. When we're deep inhale, exhale, come back to center. Oh, we've been here a minute, I know. So go ahead and plant your hands. Ooh, straighten the legs. And if your heels are on a blanket, you can just move it out from underneath you. And then just take a nice little forward fold here. So a couple of options. You can just release your fingers down to the floor. It might feel nice to bring your hands to your calves, so behind you, and kind of gently press in. It's like a standing Pashimotanasana. Maybe grab opposite elbows if that feels good. That can be really nice if you tend to be tighter in the neck. It just kind of gives you a little weight, a little gravitas, so you can release down. And you can sway a little bit from side to side here. If you have your arms crossed, go ahead and change the cross. And then wherever you're at, just release fingertips down to the mat. Take a nice generous bend in your knees and begin to roll up. Coming to standing. So just stacking the vertebrae on top of each other. Good. And when you get there, roll your shoulders back. Good, and then roll them forward. Back again. All right, and then just releasing down. So I'd like to move into some externally rotated standing poses. So warrior two, we're gonna get into our arms as well. So if you have a block, go ahead and just place it to the top of your mat. And then if you have a strap, go ahead and grab that. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. I'll give a way to modify with that. So let's take the strap over our left, right shoulder. And then go ahead and come to a nice wide stance on the long edge of your mat. So the edges of your feet are parallel with the edges of the mat. Direct your tailbone down, feel the outer hip squeeze in, find this length through the sides of your waist. So a lot of the same actions that we had in our crescent pose. Nice. From deep within this right hip socket, we're gonna turn that leg out to 90 degrees. And then we're gonna spin this left leg in quite a bit. So hips are not on the same plane. This left hip's a little higher, this right hip's a little lower, it's spiraling back. So they don't need to be even. We do have our torso facing forward though. Okay, so from here, as you inhale, press into your feet from your legs, arms reach up. And then as you exhale, just start to bend into that right knee. We're gonna do this a few times, kind of warming this up. As you inhale, press that front leg to straight, arms will reach up overhead. Exhale, sink into that Virabhadrasana 2. Keep that back leg nice and strong. Inhale up. Good, exhale. Sink in here. Let's take a couple of breaths like this. You might need to sneak that front foot forward, especially if the knee is tracking over your toes. So we want the knee over the ankle. Maybe bring your gaze out over those right fingertips for a breath or two. Just imagine that you're pressing this right knee into a wall behind you. But again, as you seal into the back edge of that left foot, this left hip is releasing down as this leg fires up. Okay, so from here, go ahead and bring your gaze to forward. Stretch your right arm up. Okay, use your left hand to help you wrap that arm inward. So outer arm towards inner arm. Bend your elbow. Reach your fingertips down your back. So if you don't have a block, or a block, if you don't have a strap, you're just gonna take your left hand on top of your elbow. And even if you do have a strap, maybe this is what you're gonna do. So it's kind of like the mellower version. Otherwise, if you wanna go a little deeper, reach that left arm out. So let's start with the palm facing forward. Start to bring that like a thumbs down towards the floor, so your palm is spinning behind you. Start to angle that arm down, which I always think feels like a nice stretch, and then bend that elbow. So you're probably gonna grab the strap here. A couple of us might get fingers. If you come into this variation and it feels too intense in the shoulders today, just come back to left palm on top of that right shoulder. Good, and then let's keep the legs like this. We're just gonna do this. So actually what I wanna do is, as you inhale, start to straighten that right leg. Really do so by firming above the muscles. And then start to shift your hips off to the left. So we're gonna kind of come into a little modified triangle pose with the arms like this. It's super intense. Keep wrapping those right ribs up. These look really nice. You can kind of lean your head back into that right elbow. Good, and then we're gonna release here, which is gonna feel so wonderful. So hand can come to your thigh or your shin. Block is really nice. You can situate that so your hand can be on your block. Top arm reaches up. So coming into the full expression of this pose, really start to wrap those right ribs up. Feel that lengthening through the right side. Gaze can be down, forward, or up. Make sure that you continue to press to the inner edge of that right foot. Good, so as we inhale, we're gonna find our Virabhadrasana 2 again. So don't think about it, just transition. Nice, good work. Take an exhale here. Spin your right palm to face up as you inhale. Find your reverse warrior. Good, and then let's start to, on our next inhale, press that front leg to straight again. So reverse triangle pose. And then as you exhale, just bring your torso back upright. Beautiful work. Parallel your feet. Good. And then you might have to kind of step in, rearrange your props. So block goes to the outside and then strap over your left shoulder, and then go ahead and find that nice wide stance again. So edges of the feet parallel with the edges of the mat. Squeeze the glutes in towards each other. Feel the inner thighs squeeze in towards each other. So legs are really active here. Belly is pulling in and up. So we want all the support in these standing poses. From deep within this left hip socket, turn that leg out to 90 degrees. And then spin these right toes in a lot. So we're really letting this right hip release down. We're not trying to square it. What happens is that right side of the waist starts to kind of come along for the ride. So square your torso to the long edge of your mat. Nice. Good, really strong legs pressing to the inner edge of that left foot as you inhale, arms reach up. As you exhale, sink in. Inhale, press that front leg to straight, arms reach up overhead. Good, exhale, sink in. Good, inhale, legs come to straight, arms reach up overhead. Beautiful, beautiful work, everybody. As you exhale, you come in. Couple breaths here in our Virabhadrasana 2. Bring your gaze out over those left fingertips. Feel all of the strength, especially in your legs. You can feel it here. So feel that strength, that steadiness. And then just bring your gaze forward. We're going to reach our left arm up. Use your right hand to help wrap that arm in. Bend the elbow, reach your fingertips down the back. And again, maybe you just stay here with right hand on right elbow. Good. Maybe go ahead and extend that right palm out. Spin the thumb to face down so your palm faces behind you. And then start to reach down. I love the stretch it gives across the top of the shoulder as you take that nice and slow. Bend the elbow. Maybe you can clasp fingertips. Probably you're getting the strap. Press this right shoulder head back as your left elbow reaches. If you go there and it doesn't feel good, you come back to right palm on top. Okay, and then put your brain in that left foot. Press to the inner edge of the foot as you inhale. Start to straighten. Good, and then as you exhale, shift hips off to the right. And this isn't gonna be like a deep, deep triangle pose here, especially in this arm variation. In fact, we're kind of getting more into the arms, into the upper body. Find that length through the left side. Really stretch that left elbow forward. Really good. And then we release here, hallelujah. So we come into the full expression of our triangle pose. Hand could be on shin, thigh, or block is wonderful. As you inhale and lengthen through the left side of your waist, press to the inner edge of the left foot. And then as you exhale, start to wrap those left ribs up towards the ceiling. Feel your shoulder blades stack on top of each other here. Breath smooth and steady. Okay, so don't overthink it. As you inhale, you're gonna just make your way nice and gracefully into your Virabhadrasana 2. So good. Exhale, sink in. Spin your left palm to face up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, climb that right hand back down that back leg. Feel this nice lateral stretch. We've been here already in class. And then as you inhale, press to the inner edge of that left foot. So reverse triangle pose. And then inhale. Good, arms reach up. Parallel your feet here. Walk your heel toe your feet in a little bit closer so you don't have quite as wide of a stance. Bring your hands to your hips. And you actually may want to have a block here. We're going to just come into a little forward fold twist. So block making a triangle with your feet potentially, and if you don't need it, you can just move it out of the way. Hands come to hips, elbow squeeze in. Feel the tailbone release down, sternum stretch up. Feel this work in the legs. So glutes are firing, outer hips are squeezing in. All right, keep all of this length as you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. We're gonna take our right hand underneath our right nose, so maybe on the block, and then left hand is on this hip. Start to wrap your lowermost right rib to the left. Again, lean this left shoulder back. You might just stay here like this. Again, maybe you start to extend your fingertips up towards the ceiling. Gaze might come along for the ride. You simply might be looking down or forward. Really try to fill up on your inhale. It's a little more challenging here in these twists. Everything is a little constricted, so fill up as best you can. Good, deep inhale. Exhale, unwind, and let's just bring that left palm underneath our nose, so hand can be on a block, or it might be on the floor. And then just right fingertips to that right hip crease. Start to exhale, wrap your left ribs to the right any amount. Lean this right shoulder head back. Maybe you stay here like this. Maybe you start to extend your arm up so shoulder blades stack on top of each other, finding a nice, easy place with your gaze. Beautiful work. Breath. Nice and steady. Inhale, expand as much as you can in this twist. And then exhale, twist in a little deeper. Hi, KB, who just walked through Kyla's frame. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind, fold in, and just take a little forward fold here. And in fact, let's all take a nice deep inhale. Open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go. Ha. And then from here, so inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. Here on your fingertips. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows squeeze in. Inhale, press into your feet, come up to standing. And then step your feet together. Okay, so we're gonna come into our Dandasana. So making your way to the floor. Do you have a strap handy and blocks close by too? And then if you know it's really hard for you to sit tall, sit up on a blanket or two, just to give yourself a little more freedom here in this pose. All right, so legs extending out in front of you. This is our standing version of our mount, or a sitting version of our mountain pose. I can talk on a Monday. So legs are really active, toes are flexed and pointing up towards the ceiling. You're feeling these inner thighs spiral down. Shoulders are landing over your sit bones. And quite a bit of effort to sit here like this. It requires some core strength. So just take a few breaths here. Notice how you feel. Notice if the shoulders are creeping up around the ears, soften them down. Okay, so I want to give a couple variations here in our forward fold. So option one would be just kind of our standard Janu Shirshasana, so head to toe pose. So bringing the sole of your left or right foot into your thigh. So if you want to turn this into more of a deep hip stretch and hamstring stretch, you're gonna grab the edge of your right foot. So you're kind of opening up, and then you're gonna stack your knee, right knee on top of left knee. So this is kind of like a half Gomukhasana. So, and already you're gonna see that this like fires up the stretch in the left glute, the left hamstring. So in both of these poses, we're gonna inhale, stretch our arms up. So whichever version you're doing here. And then as you exhale, you hinge forward, fold in. Great place to use your strap. So strap around the foot will allow you to keep the spine nice and long. If you don't have one, if you're really tight in the hips here, you might be pretty upright. That's absolutely okay. You could always use your blocks kind of out in front of you to rest your fingers on if you're kind of folding in a little bit. Keep these left toes flexed and pointing up towards the ceiling. And then maybe just find a little twist here. So you're wrapping your right ribs towards that extended left leg. And again, you might be in this version here. So they're both good. Kind of just getting into different things depending upon what you feel like you need today. Check in with your breath again. So it's probably started to slow down a little bit. Maybe it's you're holding it a little bit. These seated poses, these deep stretches can be really intense. They kind of catch the breath. So just give some attention to your breath again. Maybe count it, kind of stretch it out. use it to help you be in these, you know, kind of uncomfortable poses. They kind of hurt so good. Good. So let's take another deep inhale. And then on our exhale, just get ugly with the pose. So start to round in. I think it's interesting when I kind of let my neck go, it kind of almost intensifies the stretch in the back of the body. You can bend the knee, the extended leg a little bit. And then inhale, start to roll on up. All right, so if you're in the Jana Shirshasana, just take your right hand to that right knee, extend out. If you're here, you can kind of do the same thing, but just finding that Dandasana again. And then we come into the second side. So option one, sole of the left foot to the inside of the right thigh, coming into the forward fold here. If you want to get a little more into the right hip, the hamstring, the glute, go ahead and just grab the edge of that left foot, start to bring that leg over. So it's kind of an external rotation, knees stack on top of each other. For a lot of us, that can be really hard in and of itself to do. So if you go there and it's not happening on this side, come back here. Good, and then the same thing, you're just forward folding any amount, particularly in this Gomukhasana, half Gomukhasana leg, you're probably not gonna go terribly far forward. That's all right. This is a deep, deep stretch. You can have your strap around the foot, hands on blocks. You can be pretty upright. They're all good places to be. We can get really attached to the idea that these poses need to look a certain way. And we always see pictures of the people who can do them really well, people who are hyper flexible. As long as you're feeling a stretch, you're where you need to be. Send your exhale to those spots in your body that are a little extra tight here. Just visualize it, creating some space and some ease. Nice for a couple more good breaths. As you inhale, you start to make your way out of this. So you can just use your left hand to help draw that knee in. Find your Dandasana, and let's come into our Pashimotanasana. So stretch of the west, stretching the backside of our body, root down into your sit bones. If you're a little tighter in your hamstrings, take your feet about hips distance apart, find a little bend in your knees. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, hinge, forward fold in so hands can rest on thighs, shins. You might be able to grab the outer edges of your feet. Again, think lengthen your spine as opposed to rounding in. And I forgot to have us do the plop on that left side. So let's just do the plop here again. So be ugly, round the spine, let the back of the neck lengthen down, let go of your legs so they might kind of externally rotate. And then nice and easy, start to roll on up. You're gonna make your way onto your back. When you get there, hug your knees into your chest. Ooh, give yourself a little squeeze. And before we come into our Savasana, let's just release the spine a little further with some twisting. So bring your arms out in a T shape, palms face up. So you exhale, drop your knees off to the right. And you're either pressing to the back of the center of your head or you're rolling towards that right cheek. Feel both shoulder blades heavy here. If that's not happening, maybe slide a block or a blanket underneath that left shoulder blade. Come up to center as you inhale. And then exhale, knees drop off to the left. Rolling onto that right cheek if it feels okay. Otherwise, just pressing into the back of the center of your head. Shoulder blades heavy. Right ribs releasing down towards the floor. Breath nice and easy. And then as you inhale, knees come up to center, one final squeeze. And then making your way into your Savasana. So legs extend. If there is any sensation in your lower back that is uncomfortable, slide something underneath your knees or bend your knees. Take your feet wide as the mat and then allow them to knock in. And then melt in here. So you worked really, really hard today. Now you get to rest really hard. Let yourself go there and enjoy that. Soak up these final quiet moments. Savasana. Good. Take a deeper inhale. Sigh the breath out. Let it go. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Stretch out. Just bring some gentle movement back to your body. Bring your awareness back to your body. And staying soft and quiet, you're going to roll to one side or the other, just finding the fetal position. Let's take a quick little moment there. And then finally, you'll use your hands to help you press up to a comfortable seat. So whatever that looks like for you. Physically notice how you're feeling differently. Hopefully it feels like you're sitting with a greater sense of ease and strength and flexibility and space. Observe how your breath has shifted. Hopefully it feels a little steadier and richer, more constant. Notice how your headspace has changed. So hopefully you're feeling a little calmer, quieter. You might be feeling those feel-good chemicals that release when we move and breathe. So soak that up. And send yourself lots of love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort, for putting in the time. It's not always easy to do, but it really does make a difference in how we feel. So just promise yourself that you're going to carry this feeling with you into the rest of the week, the rest of the day ahead. Palms come together at your heart. Bow your head with a smile. Terrific work today. So good to see all of you. Thank you. Namaste.